Thank you for turning to page 121. Welcome back to page 121. Today I'm going to do a follow-up to my previous Spellfire video where I'm going to actually examine a deck. This is a request of one of the viewers. I hope you enjoy it. I'm going to go ahead and show how I build the deck, how all the parts are broken down, and then I'm going to explain some of the house rules that we use that give the reasons for why I built the deck the way I built it. So I started with Drizzt on top just for fun. This is the deck I've been playing most lately. It's a Forgotten Realms deck based on Drow. So I'm going to break the deck into its component part and then go over the deck construction ideas and some of our house rules. Okay, here's the deck broken down into each part. This deck consists of 12 realms, 8 events, 7 magic items, 6 allies, 10 wizard spells, 1 artifact, and 12 champions, totaling 90 levels. It makes a 56 card deck. Hey, wait a minute, you say. 56 cards? We play dungeon cards a little differently. A dungeon card, in the way the card was originally developed, was supposed to be a card that would just sit off to the side and automatically be part of your force as you start the game. Very few things could assault the dungeon card or eliminate it. Didn't like that rule. We went ahead and changed it, and we made a dungeon card, one of those cards that just appears in your formation as a realm. So we count the dungeon card as a realm, but because the dungeon card was designed originally to be an extra card, we go ahead and we give a 56th card to the deck. So that's how we use a dungeon card. A dungeon card can be placed just as the others can. I'm going to go ahead and move the other piles out of the way for right now and show you how we set up. We use a standard layout where you put the first one down, second, third, and then of course working your way till you have 6. We play the 6-card game. We play the Barbarians Rules, which is that once you lay your 6th realm, even if that's Menzo Baranzan, you have to go all the way around the board and have an unbroken 6-card formation at the beginning of your turn to win. Nor can you use a caravan to generate that extra turn. In other words, you have to suffer through everybody having a shot at you. Found that was just the easiest way to play the game. We almost always play multiplayer games. Very, very rare to have a 2-player game. In fact, in our group right now, there are 7 of us in our D&D group, and all 7 of us do play Spellfire. And in fact, we need a little break from role-playing. We go ahead and throw out the idea of a Spellfire game, and we just have at it. Sometimes we'll do that 2 and 3 weeks in a row. So, winning condition for us is an unbroken formation of 6 at the beginning of your turn. As I said, the extra turn can't be generated by something like the caravan or anything like that. You have to go all the way around the table. This gives everybody a chance to break the formation and can lead to a lot of fun interactions, especially if multiple people are getting their 6th realm at the same time. We have to go around the table and crack each one in turn. It can be a lot of fun. It can be challenging. As you see, the various realms that I've just put these down as examples. As I said, we can use a dungeon card at the beginning or at any time as a card in your deck that can be drawn and then placed as a realm. This particular one, if I have a Drow champion in my pool at the beginning of my turn, we count this as before any cards are drawn, I can use a poison dart from a Drow crossbow to send any one champion to sleep. Champion remains inactive until the beginning of the owning player's next turn. Obviously, this card is big target. People try to get rid of it as fast as they can. Other cards in the deck. This is a great lead realm, so this would actually be more what I would try for if I was laying it down. Trollmoors have a Drizzle Warden-like ability. The Trollmoors regenerate and must be defeated twice in one turn before counting is raised. This can keep them on the table quite a while. I've already gone over my dungeon card. The Tripolar Triumvirate gives me a +9 ally when attacking, and in my own formation negates the other allies. This one's an okay card. I took it because it's an Underdark card. Don't know if it's going to be staying in the deck. Deepwash is a good little card. Has a secret connection to the Underdark, allowing this player to attack any other coastal realm via the Underdark, so it's very good for getting around. The Underdark itself, also from the Underdark card set. This realm extends under all opponents' realms that have attached holdings, allowing the realms to be attacked by this player's champions and allies regardless of position or restrictions. And then, of course, who can forget Menzo Baranzan. Can be played at any time, and it's immune to flyers. Very, very handy card. The other realms I have, this is an AD&D realm called the Night Hag's Lands. AD&D realms in our game can be kind of wild cards. They can go into any formation, Greyhawk, Dark Suns, Dragonlance, it doesn't matter. If it's an AD&D card, it counts as a wild card, can be placed anywhere, or in your deck and then drawn as a regular realm. We do the same thing with AD&D champions and even artifacts. It just keeps things a little cleaner, makes more cards available. The Night Hag's Lands is a fan card. This one says champions attacking this realm must draw and discard a card, noting its last digit. If it's lower than or equal to their base level, they're sent back to their pools, imprisoned in the Hag's shackles, and unable to make any action until this realm is raised. Again, a realm that becomes very great lead realm, but a high priority target to be destroyed. The Coral Kingdoms. Realm can be attacked only by swimmers. Very, very good for restricting movement. This popular one in many of our decks, it's an AD&D realm again, it's the Lost City. Cannot be attacked by flyers or swimmers. Only AD&D champions can attack this realm. Champions from other worlds cannot attack. So, because this card can only be hit by AD&D champions, it's very important to put a few AD&D champions in your deck. You might have noticed a few of these are cropped a little weird. We do allow copies. In this particular instance, I just didn't have enough. I also tried to leave one in the binder. I didn't have enough to put it in the deck, so I just copied it, cut it, and put it in. This is for my own use, and I'm not challenging anyone's copyright to anything. This one is Roran. If Roran is raised, the attacking champion must be discarded. Very good revenge power if somebody gets in and raises your realm. Another AD&D realm, Depths of the Earth. Cannot be attacked by flyers or swimmers. Defending swimmers are doubled in base level. If raised, the attacking champion must discard all magic items and artifacts. Another very good revenge power. And Evermeet. Any champion can use wizard spells when defending Evermeet. Flyers, swimmers, and earthwalkers cannot attack this realm. You're seeing a bit of a trend in the deck, I'm sure. I like to limit mobility as much as I can of my opponents. Next, I'm going to come to the 8 events. You're allowed to have 10. I've put in 8 because of card count. Calm, a very useful card to have. This magical calm undoes the harmful effect of any event, but only for the player of this card. Deflection. I can deflect a harmful event, affecting only me onto another player. So if somebody plays an ancient curse on me, I can deflect it anywhere else I want. Dispel All, another fan card. Play to cancel any just played support card. This event may not be copied. A support card does include allies. We do allow this card to dispel allies, psionic powers, spells, any kind of support card. It has to be a just played support card. So for instance, if I had Lugaru in, which allows someone to play a magic item in to defeat Lugaru, when they play the magic item, I could throw a Dispel All on that magic item, thus keeping them from being able to save themselves from Lugaru. Ancient Curse. Choose any champion with attached artifact or magic item to be killed immediately. Discard the champion and possessions. Why not? Wine of Eternity. Chase card from the Forgotten Realms set. This card puts one champion to sleep at the beginning of his turn. The player may draw and discard a card. If the card's last digit matches or exceeds the champion's unadjusted level, he awakens. Very good event to play on a high-level champion. Trap him in there, make him waste cards trying to wake him up. Trapped. Play an opposing player's champion. We can do nothing until this event is negated. A trapped champion remains in the pool while imprisoned. Cataclysm. Destroys one realm of the player's choice. That realm is discarded. Why not? And of course, Caravan. Always good to generate an extra turn for yourself. I can only play between 2 players' turns. The player of this event can take a turn immediately. Afterward, play resumes where it left off. The 7 magic items in my deck. Arrow of Slaying. This item can be used during combat to discard a champion in the pool of a player other than the opponent's. The arrow is then placed in the abyss. So I can walk into combat with somebody with this item attached and shoot a player in a third party's pool and eliminate them, but then I lose the item. The item is otherwise only a +2 offensive magic item. As I say, we usually play 5 to 7 people at the table. This is a very useful card to have. Mask of Invisibility. This is a fan card. Attached to any champion to render it invisible. When defending, they automatically defeat any champion of base level 8 or less. If attacking, they automatically defeat any champion of base level 6 or less. Just having this in your pool is a great item, or great magic item to reduce attacks upon your formation, because I automatically defeat anybody base level 8 or less, regardless of their adjusted level. Cloak of Displacement. It's +3 offensive or defensive magic item. The attached champion can attack twice if he wins in his first round, but doesn't raise a realm. He uses new allies. This one's in here for a special combo I'll show at the end. Susk the Silent. It's a sword. It's a +3 defensive weapon. It can use thief skills. It can be played directly into a player's pool instead of being attached to a champion. When in the pool, all this player's champions can use Susk in combat when attacking, returning it to the pool after battle only if victorious. If you lose, Susk gets discarded. Net of Entrapment. Offensive magic item. The opponent cannot play allies. Any already in play are discarded. Scarab of Protection. The attached champion is immune to the special powers of realms and undead champions. Very useful defensive magic item. And Winged Boots. The attached champion becomes a flyer. If he is defeated in battle against a non-flying champion, he can retreat from the combat back to his pool. Fantastic card to have, especially if your opponent doesn't field a lot of flyers. Alright, next up we're going to take a look at the 6 allies in my deck. This is a fan card. This is a very powerful ally. He's a +8 ally. He's an elf. He can cast wizard spells. This soldier knows all kinds of terrain and can attack any realm, regardless of position or movement restrictions. After the round of battle, the Arcane Archer returns to the player's hand, regardless of its result. This card can be played again in another round of combat. This card is very useful if you want to do multiple rounds of attacks, because win or lose, this guy goes back to your hand and you can play him again in the next combat. This card is on the verge of being banned out of our group because some of the players feel it's too powerful. Right now it is still legal in our group. The Ancient Dracolich. He's a +9 ally. He's an undead flyer dragon. One opposing ally of this player's choice is instantly discarded. You have to make the choice when you put it out, but again, what's not to love about this ally? Intellect Devourer. He's only +1 ally. Immediately destroys an opposing champion of level 5 or less. Count only magic item and artifact bonuses when determining level. We take this literally. We don't care what else you have attached. We only count your magic item and artifact bonuses when determining level. So if you have a +2 sword card on you, and that's it, it's +5 or less, you are immediately discarded. Fallen Angel. Another fan card. This is an instant defeat card. It's a +1 ally, demon, fiend, and flyer. The attached champion wins the round of battle automatically. The ally is sent to the abyss after the round of combat instead of being discarded. Again, this one's close to getting banned, but although some of the players have started putting it in their decks as well, so maybe she'll be around for a little while longer. The Dreaded Ghost. One of my favorite cards in the entire game. +9 ally. She's undead. This ally drains the adjusted level of an opposing champion, except a cleric, by 9. Any that drop below 0 are instantly defeated. So very potentially an instant defeat card. And then of course, Myrmidons. When the Myrmidons are discarded, their player shuffles all discards back into his draw pile. We do allow you to discard in any sequence that you want, so Myrmidons can be the last card you discard as the combat ends. Very useful card. Myrmidons is one of my favorite allies. Next up, 10 wizard spells. Retarget. 4th edition card. This allows the player to recast a just cast offensive or defensive a just cast offensive or defensive spell at any card in play. The spell may be cast at any time. The obvious uses of this one are tremendous. Charm Monster. We have a couple players that play a lot of monsters. An opposing monster returns to its pool. The caster wins the round of battle. This is an offensive spell. There's a lot of stuff in Spellfire that is immune to offensive spells. It's still good to have. Dispel Magic. Cancels the effect of any spell. And yes, we do allow a Dispel Magic to be canceled by a Dispel Magic. We have had it happen that 3 players have had thrown a Dispel Magic, one on the other, then on the other. It's a lot of fun when it happens. Disintegrate. Destroys 1 realm, regardless of position. The destroyed realm must be discarded. His player can make no attacks this turn. Especially a great card to have if you don't want to attack that turn, if you don't have enough champions, or you just don't want to. Wish, in my opinion, no deck is complete without a wish. Obviously, we use this one a lot. This one's a copy as well. Discard any one card in play except a realm, regardless of its immunities. The spell can be cast at any time. The casting champion cannot be used again until the caster's next turn. It does lay your one caster out, and we insist that you tell at the time of the casting who cast it, because that character is laid out for the rest of the round regardless of what happens. This spell can be turned, dispelled. There's a lot of fun stuff that happens with wishes. Limited wish. Cancel the effects of any event card. This spell can be cast at any time. Great to eliminate an event card. And it cancels the event card entirely. So if it's a card that affects all players and somebody throws a limited wish, no one suffers the effects. Deathlink. Wonderful revenge card. It's also a defensive magic spell, which are rarer. It's rarer to have immunities to. It's +2 spell, but if the casting champion is defeated, the opposing champion is also discarded. Death spell. Don't leave home without it. Kills any one champion or ally the caster is choosing, level 7 or less, and it can be cast in phase 3 or 4. Fear. This one appears in almost every deck that we play. Attached to any one champion in the pool, that champion cannot attack or defend until the fear is dispelled. Hate to waste the Dispel Magic on it, but it happens all the time. And then, of course, spell turning. Can be cast at any time. Turn a just cast offensive spell back on its caster if the original target had cast it. Another reason why when a wish spell is used, we make the person declare who cast the spell before any effects are known. This spell could be turned back on its caster and he can be discarded. Next, I'll go on to the single artifact I have in this deck. This is part of a combo I mentioned earlier. It's a +4 artifact. It's an AD&D artifact. I mentioned earlier we allow that as kind of a wild card in any deck. It's the Throne of the Drow, usable only by elf or drow champions of any world. Instead of attacking a realm during a turn, the attached champion can attack a champion in another player's pool. If successful, this player draws a card, but not as spoils, and the defender is discarded. It's important to note that it's not as spoils because you can't play it immediately. It has to go into your hand. This card, as I said, is part of a special setup that I use in this deck. I've only ever gotten off, I think, twice, but it's a fun setup. I'll show it at the end. And finally, we come to champions. As I noted, we play 90 levels of champions in our game. An interesting side note, not many of us take avatars because they tend to get creamed very early, but an avatar in our game only counts as 1 point, not the total value of the avatar. So a 20th level avatar would still only count as 1 point against your character total. Okay, so Drizzle Warden, of course. In a Drow deck, you have to have him. He's an 8th level Drow fighter. When defending, Drizzt must be defeated twice in one battle before he's discarded. Drizzt is a great character to have in your deck. Succubus, this is a fan card. She's a level 5 champion. She's a demon fiend flyer. She can cast wizard spells and use psionic power cards. In phase 3, she can copy the power of any female champion in play until this player's next turn. That power, that last line, is incredibly powerful. If you look at the female champions on the table and copy it, it starts at the beginning of your turn. That can add a lot of power to this card. She becomes a quick one to get eliminated by the opponents. Jezebel Athik, another fan card. She's a 5th level thief. She's an elf drow walker. She can cast wizard spells and use hero unarmed combat cards. Hailing from Exalkin clan, Jezebel's sleight of hand and sorcerer skills makes her immune to allies. You'll note that she does cast wizard spells. Also, you'll note that the Succubus casts wizard spells. Midnight's very common in our game. I might not be the only one to put Midnight on the table. I don't want to be limited in my ability to cast spells, so I put non-wizard spellcasters in my decks. Gib Hisnin, otherwise known as Big Neesmith. This is a level 9 monster, and this monstrosity is immune to all spells, events, magic items, and artifacts. Very powerful champion to have out there. Want to point out he's immune to all spells but Wish, which says it's not immune. No, nothing is immune to it. The Living Wall. I've won games just by having this guy in my formation. He's a level 10 monster. This monster absorbs and discards all champions and allies of level 6 or higher. That's modified levels. It's immune to artifacts and offensive spells and magical items. Champion's offensive psionic powers and allies must be level 5 or less to attack it. Lots of restrictions on this guy. When he's sitting in your pool, he becomes a target to be eliminated with a wish or something like that. But as long as he's in your pool, he's going to be a big deterrent to being attacked. Helm. Another guy who's in because he's not a wizard and he can cast spells. Level 6, and I can discard him from the pool to cancel one event, even if the event doesn't affect this player. So he has a couple of uses. He's a level 6 fighter, which is fine. Cast cleric and wizard spells, and then I can discard him to dump any one event, and that cancels the event for the entire table, not just me. Paisno, not sure how to pronounce this lady's name. She's a fan card. She's a level 9 monster. She can a swimmer. She can cast wizard spells. When in the pool, she can, once per opponent's turn, name a male champion in that opponent's pool, forcing him to attack if possible, another player of her choice. If this controller chooses not to, the target champion is devoured and discarded by Paisno. We only let this happen once per time around the table because we found she was way too powerful. She could do it on everybody's turn. Very good card. Gromp Ban Ray. I like this card a lot. He's a Drow elf. He's from the Underdark. He's a level 8 wizard. Immune to offensive spells. Does not need permission to cast spells. Sensing a theme here. When Gromp is in play, the Realm Menzo Baranzan cannot be discarded or played. You have to be careful when he's out if you want to use Menzo. Underdark allies played with Gromp are immune to opposing allies. Midnight. Much maligned Midnight. There's a serious campaign to ban her at our table. I've resisted to this point, and so far the group's been with me. She's the Goddess of Magic, a level 7 wizard. If only one Midnight is in play, wizards cannot cast spells without her permission. She also destroys all magic items held by an opposing champion. Now, we allow that any Midnight in play can cancel spells for anyone that she wants. It is possible because she can give permission for Midnight to let one player cast spells and not the other. In fact, in a tight game one time when someone was on the verge of winning, I was restricted by Midnight, could not cast a spell. I asked the controlling player, may I please cast a spell? Cast spells? He said, sure. I immediately cast Death on Midnight, killing her off the table, and then went ahead and was able to crack my opponent's formation, keeping the game going. Maleficent, because why not? Level 8 fighter, elf Drow. She can cast wizard spells and use Drow abilities. She commands such power that one avatar not involved in combat must aid her in any way its special powers can. Again, avatars don't appear on our table a lot, but she's still a good card and a Drow. I'm going to do Malaro as the next one. She's a level 6 fighter, elf Drow. Malaro can corrupt a monster in the pool of a player not involved in the current combat to act in his stead. That player must provide the champion, but this player may only use the cards in his own hand. Very good to put a substitute champion in front to let somebody else take the attack. And then, of course, Zaknafane, father to Drizzle Warden. Level 9 champion. He's an elf Drow. Zaknafane can attack up to 3 times per turn. Second attack, he's level 6, and on the third, he's level 3. So that's an analysis of the deck, an overview of what all of the cards do. I'm going to go ahead and show you the little trick I have in the deck with a couple of the cards. There are a number of tricks in here, but I'm going to show you the one that I really like. It's my favorite. I've only gotten it off, I think, twice in all my playing days, but when it works very, very well. Okay, the main trick of this deck involves Zaknafane. Because Zak can attack 3 times per turn, on the second, he's level 9 the first, level 6 the second, and the third, he's level 3. If you attach to Zak the Throne of the Drow, which allows a champion from any world to attack into the player's pool, Zak can actually attack characters in one player's pool. It has to be the same pool, but he could attack them once at 9th level, once at 6th, and one at 3rd. It's a good way to eliminate 3 characters out of somebody else's pool. And if you want to up that a little bit, you put in the Cloak of Displacement. Allows the champion to attack twice in the first round, but doesn't raise a realm. Because you're attacking in the pool and only killing champions, this, and you can use allies, this would allow Zak to attack twice at level 9, once at level 6, and once at level 3, plus the adjustments of the card. So his first attack would actually be at 9, 12, 16, and then the second attack would also be 16, the third attack would be 13, and the fourth attack we'd be down to 9. Would be down to 9. Would be down to 10, I'm sorry. So, Zach, as you can see, very powerful. If this combination works, I've had it work twice. I've gone for swims in other players' pools, and they have not liked the outcome. It's very hard to get this combo off because of the way Spellfire plays, but still, it's a lot of fun when it lands. So that's an overview of one of my Spellfire decks. In fact, the last time I played this deck, a couple of weeks ago, I did win in a 5-player game. So Spellfire remains a ton of fun. I love this game. I love that it has held up over all the years. We've had to modify many things, as I discussed in this, but considering that this game went out of print back in about 1997, and it's still alive today in a lot of forums online and certainly on eBay, things like that, and it's alive in our group, I'm really delighted to have this in our group. I'm glad that I was able to introduce this to all my players and that everybody embraced it. I consider myself especially lucky in that my wife and both my sons, who are also players in my campaign, play Spellfire. So a few of the nights during the lockdown, we chose to do a family game night and include some Spellfire rounds in that. So it's ended up, I've been kind of blessed with that, and I've really appreciated it. So, Hun, boys, I just want to let you know you are appreciated. That's it for page 121, and I'll see you next time. Well, that closes the book on another episode of page 121. Please leave your comments below, and if you enjoyed what you saw, go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.